Hey, we effed up Earth. Let's go to the moon. All right. So what's going on with that? Let's go ahead and start with Artemis today. So the reality is we've polluted the oceans. We've clogged the skies and turned Earth into one big subscription service. No matter what you want to do in your life, whether it's own a home, use the radio on your car, have access to internet, communicate with others via phone, and in many cases, even go to school. It's all a subscription service. So naturally, the next step is let's take this off planet, sell the moon. Can you imagine? Soon you're going to be able to have a vacation timeshare that you didn't really realize you were getting into. So, welcome to the next frontier of human ambition, moon-based living. Buy your share. The future timeshare destination location, now accepting early investors. Did you buy a star in 2005? Well, here's an upgrade. Congratulations. You're already emotionally prepared to buy land on the moon. Did we even go there? Let's address this elephant in the room. In 1969, during the Apollo 11 landing, you could put your little home on the moon there. Candlelight. So let me go back to pick a different one here. There we go. So in 1969, during the Apollo 11 moon landing, humans first set foot on the lunar surface. Astronauts like Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became global icons. In fact, AI will give us a fact check. 6 missions successfully landed humans on the moon. 12 astronauts walked on its surface, and over 800 pounds of lunar rock were brought back. Does that make sense? I mean, you've always been with somebody who packs too heavy. Have you ever been on a plane and they've asked somebody to move in order to balance the weight? They brought 800 pounds of lunar rocks back. And yes, even made a call back to Earth so we could all celebrate the moment. Doesn't your cell phone still drop in 2026? You know, my hardwired internet doesn't even work. I wouldn't say half the month, but usually there's a good 3 to 4 days out of a month that I can just know that it's not coming on. So this raises a question. Why is your cell phone dropping a signal on a freeway to Santa Cruz in Silicon Valley? Well, you get it. Okay. So technology then versus now. Let's go back to that. Here's the reality. Apollo communications didn't really rely on cell towers. Apollo communications used deep space tracking networks, massive ground antennas, and a line of sight radio system. It was crackly, but it worked. Competing with terrain, network congestion, and infrastructure gaps is what you deal with your phone. So no, NASA didn't have a better Verizon coverage. Can you hear me now? Was not a question. They just had a different system completely. So the moon landing, the skepticism has existed for decades. It's been one of the leading conspiracy claims. Common claims often include the flag moved, no stars in the photos, and an allegation that it was filmed on a set. But here's what's verifiable. According to AI, NASA left retroreflectors on the moon. Scientists still bounce lasers off them today. Satellites like the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter have photographed Apollo landing sites. You don't have to trust NASA, but physics still works without your approval. It's a common stance. Where would you like to put your homestead? Just as an idea there. So let's fast forward to Artemis. NASA's Artemis program is bringing humans back to the moon. In 2022, Artemis 1 orbited the moon, tested deep space systems, and returned safely to the Earth. Yes, splashdown included. That parachute landing that you saw was completely intentional. Capsules re-entered Earth's atmosphere and land in the water to reduce impact forces. Not exactly a luxury arrival, but slightly better than the economy middle seat that we usually face. This was the proposed route for Artemis to kind of do a slingshot. And the landing. Coming back on shore. Celebration. Space tourism and the business of orbit. Private companies are now in the game, like Blue Origin, founded by Jeff Bezos. And you might remember the amazing experience they had when they launched all the female astronauts up into suborbit, called it space, named them astronauts, when all they did was pose for pictures and maybe hang on a little bit. In fact, that was such a joke that when it landed back in the hole that it created, they opened the door to pop on out. And the television crew told them, no, you can't open the door. You have to close it and let Jeff open it for you. So Jeff comes walking around the capsule, as you remember, and he trips over a hole created by this mass. And then so gallantly, he opens the door and like a knight allows the ladies to escape. So these flights go suborbital. They offer just a few moments of weightlessness and they return via parachute landing. It is really about tourism. There's no other practicality around it. These are not moon missions. They're very expensive roller coasters. But this is where we're going. Technology is taking us for tourism. Kind of cool there. So here's where it actually seems to turn the page a little bit. NASA and partners are actively planning lunar habitats and lunar gateways, long-term human presence on the moon. Maybe your child will live there one day. Private companies are exploring mining, infrastructure, and commercial access. Now, I'm supposed to say this in a satirical tone, but as many of you know, I reported back circa 2019, 2020 that I saw the documents that Apple linked to a moon base. My contact at NASA then confirmed that. So if we're there big. And why is it being hidden? But of course, AI tells me I'm not supposed to say that Apple has a secret moon base. But give Silicon Valley a moment and we'll be there too. So where does this leave us? We went to the moon. We stopped going. We're starting to go back again. Today, this is government missions. This was NASA's show. Isn't NASA the one that left the astronauts out there for an extended period of time, hanging in the wind during the Biden administration? Elon had to send a capsule up there to get them and bring them back. And yet NASA is still fully funded. Well, so go ahead, own your own slice of the moon. Hopefully it's next to that star. You can hop over there on the way. Low gravity, high returns. Because if history has taught us anything, if there's land, eventually someone's going to try to sell it. So I wanted to fact check this conversation. Apollo's landings were 1969 to 1972. Artemis 1 mission and splashdown happened. Blue Origin suborbital flights we talked about, and the Lunar Gateway and moon base plans. They're already mapped out. This is the direction we're going. However, I was told there's no evidence of secret moon bases. No credible evidence supporting moon landing hoaxes. And Artemis is definitely not a tourism flight. So what I did then is I asked, and let me see if I can pull that up right here too. Here we go. Was the 1969 television moon landing real? That was my question to AI. Yes, of course, says AI. The 1969 moon landing was real. It refers to the Apollo 11 moon landing when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the lunar surface with Michael Collins orbited above. Now, isn't that interesting? Did you know the name Michael Collins? Why did the other two become so famous? Why this is considered established fact, according to AI. Independent tracking, multiple countries, including the Soviet Union, tracked the mission in real time. During the Cold War, they had every incentive to expose a hoax. Physical evidence. About 842 pounds of lunar rocks were returned and studied worldwide. Laser reflectors, devices left on the moon, still reflect lasers from Earth today. Orbital imaging. Modern satellites have photographed the landing sites and equipment. Engineering conspiracy. The mission aligns with known physics, telemetry data, and thousands of engineers' documented work. Conspiracy claims do exist, but they do not hold up under the scientific and technical scrutiny of somebody yelling louder than you. How many times would it go to the moon after that? After Apollo 11, the U.S. sent astronauts to the moon 5 more successful times. Apollo 11, 1969, was known to be the first landing. 1969, Apollo 12. 1971, 14. 1971 again, 15. 1972, 16. And 1972, 17. 6 successful moon landings noted. 12 astronauts walked on the moon. The Apollo 13 1970 mission aborted due to an onboard explosion. Crew safely returned, but did not land. Bottom line, the moon landing was real and extensively verified, according to AI. Humans landed on the moon more than 6 times between 1969 and 1972. No human has returned to the moon since Apollo 17 in 1972, but programs like Artemis program aim to change that. As a cliffhanger, I'll go back to some of these other cool ones here. AI wants to ask why we stopped going to the moon. I didn't delve deeper, but it's exciting to know that you too will soon be able to get tricked into a timeshare on yet another location. All right, here we go. You have a great day today.